Another one.
The files lay heavy on the table, each one a life cut short, victims of a silent, invisible enemy. The weight of the city pressed down on their shoulders. These weren't just case files, they were people, families, lives extinguished too soon.
We've got a situation. These deaths, they're not random. The victims, they all died from a strange infection.
The air crackled with tension. The detectives exchanged uneasy glances. Something was deeply wrong.
The infections are like nothing I've ever seen. They attack the body rapidly, shutting down organs one by one.
Her words hung in the air, heavy with dread. The room fell silent. They were facing something unknown, something terrifying. Days turned into nights as the detectives tirelessly pursued every lead. They interviewed families, combed through medical records, and searched for any common thread connecting the victims. Each clue seemed to lead to another dead end, but they pressed on, driven by a relentless determination to solve the case. The detectives meticulously examined every document, every piece of evidence, and connected clues on a sprawling board that dominated their office. The pressure mounted with each passing hour. The pressure mounted with each passing hour. The city held its breath, fear seeping into its veins as the clock ticked away. The city held its breath, fear seeping into its veins. People went about their daily lives with a sense of unease, knowing that a dangerous individual was still at large. Fear seeping into its veins, the city streets grew quieter at night, with people too afraid to venture out.
One name keeps surfacing during our investigation: Dr. Evan Harris. His name appeared in multiple contexts, raising suspicions. A disgruntled scientist recently fired from the city's water treatment plant. His dismissal had been abrupt, and he had left under a cloud of controversy.
He has the knowledge, the expertise, and most importantly, the motive. His background in chemistry and access to the water treatment plant made him a prime suspect. And most importantly, the motive. Could he be the one behind this nightmare? The detectives couldn't ignore the mounting evidence against him. Could he be the one behind this nightmare? The pieces began to fall into place when they discovered a disturbing pattern.
The pieces began to fall into place when they discovered a disturbing pattern. All the victims lived in the same neighborhood, all drawing water from the same source. All the victims lived in the same neighborhood, a seemingly quiet and safe area, all drawing water from the same source. The city's water supply became the focal point of their investigation. Could the city's water supply be compromised? The detectives knew they had to act fast to prevent further harm.
We're dealing with something far more sinister than we initially thought. The implications were terrifying, and the detectives braced themselves for what lay ahead.
The lab results confirmed their worst fears. The data was irrefutable, leaving no room for doubt. Traces of a modified virus, engineered to be highly contagious and lethal, were unmistakable. These traces were found in the water samples collected from various parts of the city. Dr. Harris had weaponized the very element essential for life, turning it into a tool of destruction. He had turned water, the source of life, into a silent killer, an invisible threat lurking in every drop. A city-wide alert was issued, warning residents about the contaminated water. The message was clear: avoid all water sources. Panic erupted in the streets as people rushed to hospitals, fearing the worst. The emergency rooms were overwhelmed. The detectives worked around the clock, following every lead that could lead them to Dr. Harris. They knew the stakes were high. They were in a race against time, each minute ticking by, a potential life lost. The pressure was immense. Finally, they tracked him down to an abandoned warehouse on the city's outskirts. The location was eerily quiet. The air was thick with the smell of chemicals, a testament to the sinister activities that had taken place there.
They took everything from me. Now they will pay. His voice was filled with a chilling resolve.
A lone figure, Dr. Harris, stood amidst a makeshift laboratory, surrounded by his twisted creations. In his hand, he held a vial of the deadly virus, the culmination of his dark ambitions. His eyes were filled with a chilling mix of resentment and madness, a dangerous combination that spelled doom.
It's over, Harris. Put down the vial. You don't have to do this. Think about the consequences.
Harris chuckled, a hollow, chilling sound that echoed through the room, sending shivers down everyone's spine. He raised the vial, his finger hovering over the stopper, a dangerous glint in his eyes.
They took everything from me. Now they will pay. This city will feel my pain.
In that heart-stopping moment, Ramirez saw her chance. She knew she had to act quickly. With lightning reflexes, she lunged forward, disarming Harris and sending the vial crashing to the ground, shattering into pieces. A collective gasp escaped the team as they apprehended the scientist, relief washing over them like a tidal wave. The city was safe, for now. The threat had been neutralized, but the memory lingered. The following days were a blur of activity as the authorities worked tirelessly to contain the outbreak and decontaminate the water supply, ensuring no trace of the toxin remained. Life slowly began to return to normal, but the scars of the crisis ran deep, a constant reminder of the fragility of peace. And through it all, the detectives remained vigilant, ever watchful for the next threat, their dedication to protecting their city unwavering, knowing that their work was never truly done.